Morning television usually runs on coffee, cue cards, and cheerful energy, but sometimes in the middle of bright studio lights and laughter, a real moment slips through, the kind you don't rehearse. That's exactly what happened when Kelly Ripa looked across the desk at Mark Consuelos and paused just a little longer than usual. Viewers didn't notice it right away. It was subtle, a softer smile, a gentler tone, and the unmistakable expression of someone choosing her words carefully. For a couple known for playful teasing and daily banter on Live with Kelly and Mark, this felt different. Not heavy, not frightening, just real. Kelly began by joking, the way she always does, about how Mark has two speeds in life, full sprint and asleep on the couch. The audience laughed. Mark leaned back, pretending to protest. But then she added something unexpected. She said that lately they'd been learning how important it is to slow down, on purpose. The tone shifted from comedy to honesty, yet the warmth stayed. Mark admitted he has always been the type to power through everything. Long work days, travel, workouts, commitments stacked back to back. He joked that rest was something other people did. Kelly smiled and replied, "Yes, and I married you, so now rest is something you also do." The audience laughed again, but the meaning underneath landed gently. They explained that over time they started paying closer attention to daily habits, sleep, balance, energy, and how they felt after busy weeks, not because of a dramatic moment, because life gets full, and sometimes the strongest people forget they're human. Kelly said relationships change in interesting ways after decades together. Early on, you fall in love with someone's excitement. Later, you fall in love with their well-being. She described noticing Mark taking a few more quiet evenings, choosing walks instead of late plans, and actually agreeing to relax, something she joked required a miracle. Mark responded that he finally realized being responsible also means being present, not just productive. The audience applauded, sensing the sincerity. They weren't sharing a crisis, they were sharing awareness. Kelly explained that couples often wait for a big reason to adjust their lives, but sometimes you adjust simply because you care about tomorrow. She said the goal wasn't to change who Mark is, energetic, passionate, constantly moving, but to protect it for the long run. Mark added, smiling at her, "She's basically scheduled maintenance for me." She laughed and answered, "Preventive maintenance." The humor made the conversation feel lighter, but the message stayed meaningful. They spoke about partnership, how love evolves from excitement into attention, knowing when someone needs encouragement and when they need a break. Kelly mentioned that marriage isn't about fixing each other, it's about noticing each other. Mark nodded and admitted she notices everything, from his mood to whether he drank enough water that day. He joked he can't even blink differently without her asking questions. She proudly confirmed it. The audience laughed again, but many viewers later said that moment felt familiar, the gentle care people show those closest to them. Kelly explained that sharing this wasn't meant to spark worry. They simply wanted to remind people that paying attention early is a form of love. Mark added that strength isn't ignoring limits, it's respecting them. He said he'd learned that slowing down doesn't reduce ambition, it protects it. Their conversation moved naturally, the way couples talk at home, just with an audience listening. They reminisced about busy schedules, raising kids, moving cities, and building careers side by side. Through every chapter, the secret wasn't perfection, it was communication. Kelly said the longer you're together, the more you realize romance isn't always grand gestures. Sometimes romance is saying, "Let's rest tonight." Mark smiled and replied, "That might be the most romantic sentence you've ever said to me." The audience burst into laughter. Kelly leaned toward him and added softly that caring for someone's future is the deepest kind of affection. And in that moment, the studio felt less like a set and more like a living room conversation everyone could relate to. They encouraged viewers to check in with loved ones, not dramatically, just kindly. a conversation, a walk, a reminder to take care of yourself. Mark joked that now he gets texts from Kelly during the day saying things like water and stretch, and he follows them like instructions from a life coach he can't fire. She replied, "You signed a lifetime contract." He nodded, smiling, "Best contract I ever signed." The exchange felt playful yet sincere, the balance that defines them. They explained that life doesn't need a scary turning point to inspire better habits. Sometimes appreciation alone is enough motivation. Kelly said she realized that protecting happiness means protecting health, routines, and peace of mind together. Mark added, "I'm grateful she speaks up instead of staying silent." He explained that independence is important, but partnership means letting someone care. And caring sometimes looks like reminders, patience, and shared decisions. The audience responded warmly, sensing they weren't watching a performance, they were witnessing a real marriage conversation. Kelly concluded that people often think love fades with time, but she believes it refines. Early love is excitement, later love is understanding. Early love says, "Let's go everywhere." Later love says, "Let's make sure we can keep going everywhere." Mark gently took her hand and thanked her for always looking ahead for both of them. She squeezed back and joked she plans to keep him around for a very long time, so cooperation is required. He laughed and promised to follow instructions, most of the time. The moment ended not with drama, but with comfort. Two people choosing attention over assumption, care over convenience, and humor over worry. Afterward, viewers shared that the conversation reminded them to reach out to family members, to ask simple questions, and to appreciate everyday presence. Because sometimes the most meaningful stories aren't shocking, they're reassuring. Kelly and Mark didn't reveal tragedy, they revealed partnership. A reminder that growing older together isn't about avoiding change, it's about adapting side by side. Love, after all, isn't proving during perfect days. It's proven in ordinary ones, when someone says, "I want you healthy, happy, and here with me," and the other person smiles and answers, "Always." If this story made you think about someone important in your life, share it with them. Sometimes a gentle reminder is all we need to take better care of each other.